Hello, everybody, and welcome to Navigating ACA with O'Neill Marketing. My name is William. I am the head of our agent support team over here at O'Neill. And we really appreciate everybody coming out and joining us this afternoon as we do another installment in this webinar. The general goal of our webinar today is to explain some of the background and the core tenets of ACA, show why now is a really great time to start offering these products, and then also how O'Neill Marketing can help you to grow your ACA business or to get started in the ACA business. There are question and answer sections in this platform. You can see it on the bottom. So if you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and submit them there. We're probably not going to be able to do a live Q&A just because of time restraints. But if you do submit any questions in the Q&A area, they will come to us, and then we will answer them via email as soon as we can. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. And I wanted to start out today with just a little background and some of the history of the Affordable Care Act. So the ACA, or Affordable Care Act, was a U.S. federal law. It was enacted in 2010. The broad goal of the ACA was two parts. So the first part was to broadly expand access for individual plans to Americans, specifically Americans of lower income brackets, and also those with pre-existing medical conditions. Then the second big goal of the ACA was to generally reduce the cost of health insurance plans. They've done this by a series of government subsidies to help drive premiums down for consumers. And we'll talk about that all a bit more later. So currently, over 16 million Americans are covered by the ACA. That number is trending upwards, and we expect to see that grow over the next little bit. Most major carriers now do offer an ACA plan. Even carriers that historically were more focused on the Medicare side or the over 65 are now branching out into the ACA space and are offering plans on the ACA market. And ACA is also now available in all 50 states. So no matter where you're operating or where your clients are, there are ACA plans available for them that will probably fit their needs. A big part of the ACA too, the Affordable Care Act, it established the health insurance marketplace, which is the federal marketplace on which the vast majority of ACA plans are sold. So again, most of them are on the federal exchange that operates in 31 states, or 32 states rather. The rest are on their own state-based exchanges that are a little different. The state has more of an oversight on them. Again, we'll talk about that a little more later, but that is an important part of ACA, is the establishment of that federal marketplace for all the ACA plans. The ACA also broadly expanded Medicaid and child health insurance program coverage. So a lot of children are eligible for Medicaid or CHIP. But that being said, it is still estimated that about 2.8 to 3 million children are still not eligible for CHIPs or for Medicaid. So just goes to show that even with people of the lower income that might be on that level, there are still a lot of people in that situation who are not going to be covered by the Medicaid or CHIP, and who are still going to need ACA insurance because that is typically going to be their next best option. So a really big question we get from agents, especially agents that might have been involved in ACA back in the day when it was just getting started, is why now? Why is now a good time? Why is the market so rich with opportunity for ACA agents at this moment? One of the big things I always say is that the ACA market truly has stabilized. So after a number of years that saw low enrollments, relatively high premiums, a lot of carriers entering and leaving the market, ACA has now really found its footing. So individual health marketplace grew very rapidly during ACA's early years. Some of those gains were partially offset by subsequent declines, particularly amongst people who were not receiving subsidies amid steep premium increases. But since then, and especially in the last 3 or 4 years, ACA market has certainly stabilized and become a lot easier to get involved with. One of the big reasons for that off the bat is just more carriers and more plans available. So back, when it was getting started about, 8 8, 9 years ago, the ACA market was really dominated by 2 to 3 major carriers who offered pretty much all the plans in most of the major ACA spaces. And that made it definitely a little difficult, not only just not a lot of plan selections or networks, but also, for agents, there was just not a lot of game in town. But that has changed, especially in the last 6 or so years. There have been other carriers, some coming out of the Medicare space, some just brand new ones, who have been able to come in and make their own ACA products and market that against the staple major 3 carriers that used to dominate the market. So that's really helped on all sides, not only for clients having more options, more plan availability, et cetera, but also for agents just having more competition in the market to drive commissions up and just to make everything more competitive so that carriers really have to be on top of everything and offering competitive commissions and resources to agents to make it in the business. And that kind of goes hand in hand with increased profitability. So not only for the carrier side, obviously carriers are now seeing that ACA is a place where they can make money. It's worthwhile to getting in, and a lot of them are doing so. But also on the agent side too, it's become a lot more profitable for ACA agents over the past, again, 5 to 6 years. Big part of that is the increase in commissions. Not only are commission rates trending upwards and getting better each year, but there's also now a lot more technology, consistency in commission payments, and a lot more transparency. So it's a lot easier now to track everything from application all the way to commission payment than it used to be. And again, that ties once more into some of the technological advances that we've been seeing recently. So on the carrier side, there's been a lot of advances. So now pretty much all carriers in the ACA space have their own broker portals where for their business, you can get on there, you can manage your book of business, you can check commissions, check the resources, everything for each carrier so that it's all online, again, more transparent. But then on the enrollment side too, we've seen a big increase in what are called enhanced direct enrollment sites. And that's a place where you can do all of an ACA application and enrollment without having to use healthcare.gov. A lot of you, again, if you were doing ACA back in the infancy, probably had maybe some negative experiences with healthcare.gov. Healthcare.gov obviously has increased a lot since the early days of ACA, but these EDE platforms are also a huge resource too, because a lot of times they're going to be a lot more user friendly, a bit easier to get set up on, a little bit easier to navigate than healthcare.gov, but they also offer some resources and some features that are just not available on healthcare.gov, and everything is patched into the federal marketplace, so you can now do an entire enrollment from start to finish to plan selection to enrollment, all on an EDE site without ever having to set foot in healthcare.gov. And then lastly, there are just more people enrolling in ACA coverage than ever before. So this most recent open enrollment season, which was November 1st of 2022 to January 15th of 2023, was the largest enrollment of ACA since ACA started providing subsidized healthcare in 2014. And again, that is just trending upwards. We're expecting to see similar, if not more, enrollments this upcoming year. And so part of the reason for the high enrollment rates is Congress's extension of government subsidies. So some subsidies provided through the American Rescue Plan Act in 2021 helped to kind of reverse some of the declining enrollment numbers and offer higher subsidies to clients broadly across the board. So anyone within the normal eligibility range was seeing increased subsidies. And then some people who used to be outside of the range of subsidies are now seeing subsidies, whereas they used to receive none. And then in 2022, Congress extended those subsidies for 3 years, so through 2025, with the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. Several states have also been providing their own subsidies for individuals purchasing marketplace plans. So a lot of stuff like that has increased premiums for clients and driven down the cost of these ACA plans, making it a lot more affordable to clients and making them spend a lot less than they used to. So you can expect these subsidies to continue to fuel ACA enrollment for at least 2 more years, and probably longer if Congress decides to extend those subsidies a little bit further. And then kind of another remarkable point, just as the ACA experienced its highest enrollment yet And just as subsidies are being extended to continue to fuel ACA enrollment, one of the biggest influx of people into the ACA market that's happening right now is actually because of continuous enrollment into Medicaid that was implemented during the pandemic. So CMS has called this event the quote, single largest health coverage transition event since the first marketplace open enrollment. So what this is a little bit of background. The Families First Coronavirus Response Act required states to keep people enrolled in Medicaid throughout the COVID-19 public health emergency as a condition of receiving a temporary increase in the federal share of Medicaid costs. So the end of the COVID public health emergency was set for March 31st, 2023, which means that states that accepted those enhanced federal funds could resume Medicaid disenrollments beginning in April of this year. So the redetermination of tens of millions of beneficiaries are requiring states to do in just a matter of months what previously they would have been doing continuously over the entire 3-year period leading up to it. Estimates vary on how many people could be losing coverage, but they do range from 5 to 18 million Americans losing their Medicaid coverage during this period. And then it's also expected that anywhere between 2 to 3 million of those consumers are going to need to be looking for ACA plans. So not only a lot of people getting off Medicaid, but a huge influx into the ACA market space. That's a huge opportunity for you or for any ACA agent to help this massive wave of people who are in need of individual health insurance coverage. And so this Medicaid redetermination period has created a special enrollment period for anyone unenrolled for Medicaid coverage. And that goes from March 31st of this year all the way until the end of July of 2024. So even though this is already getting started and we're seeing already a pretty big influx, this is expected to continue through July of next year and is a huge opportunity for anyone in the ACA space. Another factor that's driving even more people into the ACA market is the fixing of the so-called family glitch. So what that is until 2023, people with an offer of, quote, affordable job-based insurance coverage, such as through a family member's job, were generally considered ineligible for marketplace subsidies. However, the issue was that this definition of, again, so-called affordable was not actually feasible for many people. The so-called family glitch, it left about 5.1 million people actually ineligible for marketplace subsidies until it was recently fixed for the 2023 coverage year. So new federal regulations that were published in the fall of 2022 have changed the way that affordable job-based coverage is determined. So previously, regulations based the eligibility for a family's premium subsidies on whether the employer-sponsored insurance coverage was affordable for the employee-only coverage. That's the important piece. It was only determined by the employee-only cost. So the often substantial addition of the additional premium to cover extra family members was not considered when they calculated the affordability. So under the new federal regulations, the workers' required premium contributions for self-only coverage and for additional family coverage are now compared to the affordability threshold of 9.12% of household income. This fix of the family glitch meant that for some consumers with access to employer-sponsored family coverage with those very high premiums are now able for the first time to actually enroll in marketplace plans with subsidies that will help make their family coverage much more affordable. And again, this is a relatively new development that has just started to work its way into the ACA market space, but we fully expect over the course of this year and continuing forward, as this is disseminated into the group market space, we're going to have a lot of those families coming into the ACA space looking for more affordable coverage than what they were getting through their partner or their spouse's employer-sponsored coverage. And then employers and employees actually have also gained more choices in healthcare coverage when a federal rule allowing for the use of individual coverage health reimbursement arrangements, also known as ICHRAs or ICHRAs, that was implemented in January of 2020. So the recent changes to employer-sponsored plans regarding dependents are allowing for those eligible to opt out of the employer plan and buy an ACA plan. So under this new rule, businesses can actually meet the ACA coverage requirements by reimbursing employees for health insurance of their choice on a tax-free basis, rather than providing an employer-sponsored traditional group health plan. So with ICHRAs, the employer chooses a fixed dollar amount to be available for employee reimbursement, and the employees choose and purchase their own qualifying health insurance plan from the open market to be submitted for employer reimbursement. So ICHRAs give not only employees a much broader range of option than an employer's group plans offerings, which I'm sure you're aware. Typically, that's going to be maybe one or two plans from a single insurer. This also gives businesses the ability to cap the financial exposure to the rising health insurance costs and ease some of the administrative hassle that comes with those traditional group plans. And this creates a whole new market of ICHRA employees that are unleashed from the group plans into the open market, as well as those employees from small businesses, which we have seen are increasingly adopting ICHRAs as their method of getting insurance for their employees. You can see here, ICHRA has grown by about 350% since 2020, and it's expected to continue to do that as it becomes more of a go-to option for employers seeking coverage for their employees. I want to talk a little bit now about how the ACA works, some important baselines and important terms that you'll hear around ACA. So first up, something I know a lot of people are already aware of or who have heard of is the individual mandate, so-called. So the ACA requires that most Americans have health insurance. This provision is made to encourage healthy people to buy that insurance and to spread the risk of healthcare costs across a much larger pool. So there are now no longer any federal penalties for being uninsured as there once were. But I will say some states have enacted their own individual mandates. It is, at the moment at least, relatively uncommon. The ACA also created the online marketplaces that we mentioned earlier, like healthcare.gov, where individuals can shop for their health insurance plans. These exchanges offer all the range of plans with all the different levels of coverage and costs, and it will show people the subsidies that they're going to be eligible for and how they can apply those to the plan. So setting up one spot where all of those plan shopping can happen, and that's where agents operate as well. ACA also expanded eligibility for Medicaid. So now most consumers with incomes under the federal poverty level are going to qualify for Medicaid plans. The ACA also requires health insurance plans to cover a set of essential health benefits, and that includes stuff like preventative care, maternity care, mental health services, prescription drugs, etc. Just baseline so that consumers can know, no matter which specific plan they choose, there are certain things that are always going to be covered across the board. Then the last really big thing about the ACA I wanted to mention is some of its protection for consumers. So it included a lot of protection articles such as prohibiting insurance companies from denying coverage or charging higher premiums based on pre-existing medical conditions. I'm sure a lot of you are aware that was a huge issue prior to ACA. One of the reasons that ACA came into being, and is obviously a huge benefit for anyone who needs to be insured but has pre-existing medical conditions. One of the reasons that ACA exists and is definitely very important for consumers. Another really important cornerstone of ACA operation is going to be the subsidies that everyone gets from the federal government. So the federal government offers a subsidy to Americans who cannot afford the total cost of an individual or family health plan premium. Subsidies are based on the household income as a percentage of the federal poverty level and tend to go up to 400% of that federal poverty limit. But again, with the increase of subsidies with the American Rescue Plan Act, that has actually increased. So anyone under 400% is going to be getting a higher level of subsidies than they used to get. And then some people at or above 400 are actually now receiving subsidies, whereas they used to not have any sort of subsidy. So you can see some of the federal poverty limit numbers on this slide as well, just kind of for a reference so you can see what income levels people are being working with. So for instance, for a family of two, having over $19,720 qualifies in for ACA. So if you had a family of two making about $20,000, they're certainly going to be getting a subsidy, and their ACA plan is probably going to cost, if they get a benchmark plan, probably nothing, or if not, very close to nothing. So a very cheap plan that will cover all of their needs. And then they have plenty of option too if they want to spend a little bit more. So a little bit about the requirements for ACA sales. Before you can start selling ACA insurance, most agents are going to have to complete the federally facilitated marketplace training. It's also known as the FFM training or the FFM certification. And so you can see on this map here which states are part of that federally facilitated marketplace or the federal exchange that we talked about a few slides ago. The one thing I will add, Virginia is actually transitioning to become a state-based exchange starting this upcoming open enrollment. So they're currently still part of the federally facilitated marketplace. That will be changing in a matter of months. Everything else on this map other than Virginia is still accurate as of this time. But the really nice thing I think you can hopefully see about ACA is just the one FFM certification covers you to sell in all of the blue states on this map, obviously assuming that you have a license there. If you're in a state-based exchange state, so any of the green states here, just know you will need to get a additional certification specifically for that state. You'll also have to use that state's enrollment platform, so just a little bit different. But the really nice thing, though, if you are operating in, let's just say you're operating in Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Virginia, and Ohio, right? As long as you're licensed in all 5 of those states, you need just one FFM certification to sell there, which most agents can complete in just a single afternoon. And then you'll be able to do all your enrollments in all 5 states on a single platform where you'll have all your clients there. So again, one relatively easy certification and then one platform for all of the federally facilitated marketplace states. And I think that's really important about ACA. Not only does it help agents expand into new states, but it also helps you get started. If you're already working in multiple of those FFM states, it's very easy to get up and running with all of those states simultaneously. And I want to talk a little bit about the ACA enrollment periods. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already at least relatively familiar with this, so I'm going to not dwell on it too much. So we have probably the most important thing is the open enrollment period. And that's the annual period in the fall when anybody can enroll in health insurance coverage through the ACA marketplace and get a plan for the following year. Typically, open enrollment is going to last from November 1st all the way through January 15th. Does vary a little bit in some states, but that's traditionally how it's going to be. Now, there's also the special enrollment period, which is anytime outside of open enrollment period. So during the special enrollment period, clients must have experienced a qualifying life event in order to enroll in coverage during that part of the year. So some examples of qualifying life events that will allow you to enroll during the special enrollment period are going to be things like losing an employer-sponsored coverage, which again, as we mentioned, is a pretty big thing now because of the family glitch. You can also get a special enrollment period if you lost Medicaid or CHIP eligibility. Again, really big thing happening right now with the Medicaid redetermination. Also, though, if you have a client who's turning 26 and losing their parents' plan, or they're getting married, or they're getting divorced, having a kid, adopting a kid, moving to a new zip code, moving to a new state, etc. Lots of reasons why people can enroll during the special enrollment period. And then there's actually a new qualifying life event that's been a huge boon as well. So with the passage of the with the Inflation Reduction Act, they made a new special enrollment period. So now any consumer whose income is under 150% of the federal poverty limit can enroll or change plans year-round outside of open enrollment, no matter the time of the year. That's definitely opened AC up to many low-income consumers, allowing them to enroll or change plans year-round. So now I want to move into a little bit about O'Neill Marketing and how we can help you in your ACA business. I'll start with just a little background about us and our organization. O'Neill Marketing was established in 2016 as a field marketing organization dedicated to assisting individual insurance agents and agencies to sell ACA products to consumers. We are contracted in all 50 states, and we have very strong relationships with all 2,000 plus agents nationally. That number obviously just keeps on growing as well. We have over 125,000 members under our agents, almost at 150,000 now. Again, just keeps on growing. We have 14 employees on our team who are dedicated wholeheartedly to empowering our agents and providing everybody with the resources that you need to succeed. And then a new addition, we partnered up with Senior Market Sales at the beginning of 2023. If you don't know, Senior Market Sales is one of the biggest and the best Medicare and financial FMOs in the country. And they have really helped us increase our reach, expand our resources to agents, and just support all of our agents to the next level. So that's just started at the beginning of this year. It's been going fantastic so far, and we are very, very excited for the future of this partnership and how it's going to allow us to serve our agents even better. And so some of the benefits that O'Neill Marketing offers to agents. First and foremost, we have top contracts with every major insurance carrier in the country. If a carrier is national or in more than one state, we're going to have that contract for you, and we can help you get contracted with those carriers so you can offer those products to your clients. And then outside of the national carriers, we have regional contracts for agents focusing in specific areas. Generally, we say if a carrier, we think they're competitive and there's a need for those plans, a lot of consumers coming on, we're going to be looking to add that carrier to our portfolio and allowing our agents to contract with that carrier. And we're always adding in new carriers too, so that we can offer more to our agents and allow you to sell more products, get all the commissions you need, and just have all the options that you need to present to your clients. We have our state-of-the-art commission platform that allows commission payments to be paid accurately and on time. Really big part of our organization is transparency, so we always strive to have the commission process and your commission payments be as transparent as possible. We pay out commissions every single week, so any commission that comes in during the week will have paid out to you at the end of the week, barring any other outstanding issues. That kind of ties into the next point, which is our very robust technology platform for businesses and agency management, for individual agents, for training, for tracking your commissions, for adding contracts, etc. You name it. We have great technology to help make all that a lot easier for you. We also have our book of business protection program to make sure that your policies are staying where they are, they're not getting stolen, and then audit services to make sure that all of your clients are staying on the books and you're getting paid for all of your hard work. Very, very important, especially for people doing a lot of production, to make sure that everything you're writing is going to get paid out. And we have our audit systems and book of business protection in place to help take some of that load off of your back. We also have our training program to educate new agents, get you up and running, teach you everything you need to know about ACA, about our platform, about the enrollments, anything you need to know. And then lastly, something near and dear to my heart, we have a very responsive agent support team who's here to answer any and all questions that you have. So whether that's getting set up with ACA, using our platform, enrollments, contracting, anything you need, our agent support team is here to help you, and we're happy to help with anything that you come to us with. I always say, even if we cannot we can't fix the problem for you on our end completely, we can always at least direct you to where you need to go, give you the resources you need, and look into any problems and just assist you in any way possible. Our agent support team is really an important part of making our agents successful, and I'm very, very glad to be a part of that. Now, here are some of our top ACA carriers. The top row here is going to be the biggest carriers that operate in multiple states across the U.S. Others are other popular, maybe more regional or just a few state carriers that we think are very valuable. If you would like a full list of all our carrier offerings, go ahead and visit our website at o'neillmarketing.net and check out our ACA product map. On there, you can see for each state the list of carriers we can contract you with. So I would encourage you to go check out that map and see which carriers we can get you appointed with in your states. Just a little bit on commissions here. Commissions are paid on a per member per month basis. The average range is $20 to $30 per member per month, with the national average being right about $24. That being said, though, commissions do vary not only from carrier to carrier, but also from state to state within the same carrier. So some states will just tend to have higher commission rates for agents. You can see here that lines up pretty neatly with the federal marketplace versus state-based exchanges. So just again, on average, in the federal marketplace states, going to be making a bit higher of a commission rate. Some states have a little lower commission, and then some states either don't really work with independent agents or don't necessarily pay out commission rates. But that being said, if you are operating in any of the federally facilitated marketplace states, there is certainly money to be made. And this is a estimated commission growth chart based on the national averages for commission rates and members per plan. One thing to note, this chart also does include ancillary sales, which we really do believe are a very important addition that many ACA agents are already working into their sales pitch. And if you are getting registered to do ACA, I would encourage you to probably add some ancillary sales in there as well. If you're interested, again, we have contracts that we can offer to you for those ancillary carriers. One really nice thing, though, I will mention here is it is very easy to renew plans for the next year, continually grow your book of business. For most clients, if they don't take any action, their plans will be automatically renewed, and you will continue to be the agent of record and continue to get commission payments for it. So it's much easier than ever to continually grow your book of business year after year and keep everyone on the books. In addition, some things like Medicaid redetermination, expanded subsidies, and the new special enrollment periods have helped ACA become more of a year-round industry instead of being cyclical toward open enrollment. ACA is now increasingly a year-round industry with more and more consumers enrolling in plans outside of open enrollment, which is great to just generally earn you more money and then keep you busy year-round. So it's not just ACA for the few months during open enrollment. Now, I'm going to finish up here by talking about our O'Neill Marketing Agent Portal. This is a really valuable piece of technology that we offer free of cost to every agent who works with us. Again, no cost for this agent portal. Everyone gets it once they're onboarded. On our agent portal, you can do things like see your agent information, updating the information you need. You can request carrier appointments and track your contracting process, see which carriers you're appointed with, which are still pending. You're able to get consolidated commission statements, commission rates for all carriers, our commission tracker, everything commission related, again, all consolidated into one portal for you. We have agency management tools for anyone out there who's an agency principal or an agency admin, where you can monitor your downline, onboard new agents, check the status of their contracting, and then again, pull consolidated commission reports for your entire agency at once. We also have marketing information, carrier resources, any past webinars or webinar resources or carrier videos are saved in one spot on our agent portal for all of our agents to access at any time. Pretty much we've made the agent portal to be your one-stop back-end shop for anything ACA related, be it commissions, contracting, resources, you name it. And then we're continually growing out the agent portal as well. We've got some new updates that we're pretty excited to drop here in the coming months that are really going to take everything to the next level. So we're super excited about unleashing that. And we are just always adding new features to the agent portal. It's already a very invaluable resource to all of our agents, and it's just going to continue getting better and better as we add new things. And then I'm going to close off today on just contracting. Obviously a very, very important part of any FMO and definitely a very important thing for our agents. So agents, when you need contracting, you can request contracts through the agent portal. Then right on the agent portal with a few clicks of the buttons, you'll be able to send that along to our contracting team who will get started and will be able to help you out through the contracting process. Then also on the portal, you have the ability to monitor requests that are pending and confirmed. Then you can see at a quick glance which carriers you're set up with and who you can sell and you're ready to sell with. We also have an audit team that works with our contracting department, and they conduct regular downline audits and pull reports to maintain accuracy in our system and to make sure that as soon as you are confirmed with the carrier and ready to sell, we're going to be updating that to the portal so that you know as soon as possible and you can get out there and start selling those products. And then we also have our contracting team there to keep an eye on everything and inform agents of any status changes and let you know what needs to be done to get these contracts. So once you have submitted them, we do have a fully stocked, dedicated contracting team who's there to help you work through that. And if you have any questions about the contracting, they are always here and they are more than happy to help you get through and push the contracting through as fast as possible so that you can get appointed and start selling. And that, guys, is going to bring us to the end of our webinar today. Again, we really, really appreciate everybody joining us. If you have any questions at all, if you put them in the Q&A section, we will be responding to everything, hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow morning. But if you want any more information or you're ready to get started, please reach out to us. Our agent support team is here, and we are always happy to discuss anything or answer your questions. You can reach out by calling us at 813-489-4156 or by emailing support@o'neillmarketing.net. So please, again, if you have any questions or need anything else, feel free to reach out. We are always happy to help. Everyone on the support team is here to help out our agents and get you up and running. So again, thank you so much to everybody for coming out this afternoon. Really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day, and we hope forward to hearing from you all soon.